Okay, hello. This is my name's Alex Winling, and if you're seeing this right now, Mrs. McCreery, this is my embedded assessment for the semester because currently I am homebound, etc., etc. Um, I want to tell you right now, if you hear some background noise, it's because I'm at my house and I got some stuff going on, and this is the best camera angle I could have got. So just if you hear the background noise, just get rid of it. First thing I want to tell you is my script is in a Google Docs, which I shared with you, so you are able to look at my script. My citations are there, etc. So I'm just gonna be doing a speech over what I chose, and I'm gonna get kind of started performing like I'm on a stage right now. Pretend that I'm performing to a whole entire audience. Pretty much, that's what I'm gonna get at. So without further ado, I'm gonna get started, and hopefully this goes well. Hello. So recently we've been seeing stuff on the news. You know what? Not just on the news, on social media, on YouTube, the internet in general. And it's about this one thing called police brutality. We got like shootings going on, etc., etc. And there's been a lot of stuff going on about it. So, I guess I shouldn't be thinking about the U.S. We're going to be talking about the countries outside of the U.S. as well. I'm going to mention Brazil at one point. Try to show you that it's not just happening here; it's also happening in other places, which is, kind of a sad thing to know. But we're going to be talking about police brutality in general, I guess you could say today. And the main points I want to hit on is why this is happening. Kind of try to get inside the mind of someone, police officer, etc., etc. Um, what we could do to stop it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we could do to stop it. It's just in these scenarios, we got to figure out what could we've done and then expand on that pretty much. And then just, how could laws change? How can we influence the laws to change in these areas? Make sure that none of this happens again because it's a really tragic thing. Something else I want to mention is before I start giving examples of, different cases that's happened in the U.S. and Brazil and everything like that, I am going to use the word I. And it's a strong word for this. And the reason I'm going to be using it is because I actually know some stuff about law enforcement and the police. Both of my brothers, I have two older brothers, both in college. They both at one point were in some form of law enforcement. My brother went to J. Everett Lake Career Center in high school, and he went in there for law enforcement. So he went through all the stuff and everything like that. Just overall, experiencing what it is to be partially in the police force and everything like that. Push-ups every day, sit-ups every day, running, etc. And my other brother, he's gonna become a forensic psychologist, and those are the people that kind of are like the ones dealing with people with court cases and crime cases in general, I guess you could say. Whether it be like talking to them, etc., etc. They're not like an attorney. They're the ones who set everything up to an extent. Maybe interview people with like mental problems or just disabilities in general or something, mental disabilities and mental capacities, whatever it may be. So if I am going to be using the word I, it's because I'm getting them from my brothers, and my brothers are reliable. Like I said, one of them went to J. Everett Lake Career Center, which for Noblesville High School is one of the things that you could do. So that's trustworthy. And my other brother currently is heading to IUPUI, which is a good school in general. I think is fairly trusted among us in the Indiana and everything like that to be trustworthy with their knowledge. So into our first case, I'm going to be talking about the Freddie Gray incident that happened. If it was widely known around the time about what happened in here, but if you didn't, pretty much what happened is a suspect named by Freddie Gray. He he was a suspect of a crime and everything like that, and a police officer went up and kind of like tackled him and kind of like threw him on the ground, I guess you could say. And when he did that, it was suspected that he actually broke the police officer, broke Freddie Gray's spine. Now, that could be a thing. It happens. It's incidents. I mean, if there's a crime and there's a suspect, police here are to get them off the streets and, just detain them. Well, the thing is, after they detained him and everything, it was shown that Freddie Gray was in pain and was asking for help. Well, that law enforcement officer that we were talking about, he did not pay attention to him at all. He was literally, Freddie Gray was crying and asking for help because you have a broken spine. That's hurting. Like, that's going to hurt. You want medical help immediately for something that serious, such as your spine. Well, when the police van got in there, they put all the suspects into it and pretty much just think of a van that has like 4 rooms for suspects, and then there's like a little metal bench with seatbelts. Well, they threw Freddie Gray in there, did not seatbelt him up, did not lie him against the bench, they just threw him on the floor. Well, that's a metal floor. So they close it up, everything, and send him off to jail. Well, here's the only problem. With him having a broken spine and lying on a metal floor of a police van, hitting any sort of bumps like that hurt, and I'm pretty sure he passed away in the van, and that's very sad. Now, here's the troublesome part of this. Why did the officer, not do any sort of medical attention like that? It was shown that he thought that he was acting like it was like jailinitis. It's like a way to getting out of there, acting like you're mentally unstable or something like that. They escape from jail. Well, pretty much, still to this day, he's waiting what his charges are. He's, going up for, murder and everything like that. So this comes to a true question. If I was there and I saw it happen, somewhere over there, just like, saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, should an American citizen be allowed to put a citizen's on arrest on a law enforcement officer without getting in trouble? It's an idea that I think could be totally possible in a way, and, we could do it. I mean, there should be laws against law enforcement officers in being able to stand up against the officer in the right situations. That would only make sense that something like that could happen. In this case, I don't know if it would happen. Talking about the severity of what the crime happened, there was multiple people involved, multiple suspects. I don't know if that would truly work, but if you saw something, you should be able to go up against the cop and not be afraid. Because it kind of seems like this day, if you go up a law enforcement officer, you should be scared. It kind of seems like that in a way, and that's a really bad thing to know, that cops are here to protect and serve us, yet they're causing harm just like he did. Freddie Gray passed away because of this, and truly he shouldn't have. That's just a horrible thing. Moving into our next topic, it's going to be about Brazil. Now, the website I went into, it was a trusted news website, and it was just really interesting. It didn't talk about a specific crime case. Let me tell you that. It talked about how many citizen deaths were because of police and law enforcement and police officers. And in Brazil, it said between 2008 and 2013, so that's a span of 5 years, around 11,000 people were killed by law enforcement officers. That's an average of 6 per a day, which is beyond horrible. 6 per day, that's really bad. And the bad thing is, in the article, they said none of these law enforcement officers get in any trouble. It's because in the reports they put about the crime, or what happened during it, they said they put down felt threatened. So pretty much what they're saying is, they felt like that suspect over there is, if they're, completely cooperating with them, and they shot him, they're saying that they were either doing it in self-defense or felt endangered. And if you write that down, it's pretty much getting you off the hook. There is rarely any court cases about any of these people's deaths in Brazil because of this. If there's no people's deaths and everything, if there's no court, nothing's going to change. I feel like in Brazil, they should be protesting, not violent protests, but just protesting in a way that would make the government get attention to this, because if there's no court cases over this, that is really bad. It needs to be more known that something like this is happening within the country, and the government needs to make a difference with it. So on to the next case. It's about a famous tennis player. I think his name was James Blake. I'm pretty sure it's James Blake or something around there. I know his last name's Blake. I'm gonna be talking to him as Blake, using his last name, so you know. And pretty much the story was he was doing a bike ride, morning, get exercise, normal thing for humans, and he went up to his house and he got off the bike, and as he got off, he heard, "Hey, stop where you're moving." Like law enforcement just saying, "Hey, stop what you're doing, don't move." Well, he was getting the key out, and he put it into the door and opened it. You could see it's a key, and he was unlocking his door to the house to go in because he might have not had ID, something like that, whatever. And as he unlocked the door and took like one step into the door, law enforcement grabbed him by the arm, spun him around, and punched him right in the face and put him to the ground. Okay, in this situation, from my brother's experiences with law enforcement, there should be no reason at all why any law enforcement officer should have done anything in that situation. If you felt endangered because of someone unlocking and opening a door to go inside their house, that's, ugh, you must, feel insecure about something. I mean, yeah, he could have been going in a house to get a gun, but I really doubt it. He just got back from a bike ride. He could have been going to get ID. He could have been, getting something that would help him, in that case. And also, talking about it before, um, something else in the article, which I didn't write in my script or anything, but I just remembered, is the same officer that punched Blake at the face for no reason also had a really bad another case on him. He pulled over a car on the highway, I think it was, pulled over a car and went up to the man, and the officer told him to get out of the car and everything like that, and the man felt like there was no reason to at all, like he just got pulled over and there was no reason to. And the thing is, he just freaked out, the cop did. He literally he reached into the car and tried to turn the car off, and then he pretty much grabbed the dude out of the seat, pulled him out of the car, and started punching him. The same person, so I'm talking about the same officer here that punched Blake, is doing this. And it was said that he even smashed a guy against his own car and then, put him in handcuffs. Here's the only thing. After that, the person that was in the car that got pulled over, not the law enforcement, the citizen, he asked for the law enforcement officer's ID and name and everything like that, like the unit he works in, everything like that. And by law, you, as a law enforcement officer, if someone asks for information about you, you kind of have to give it. Your ID, your name, etc. You have to give it to a citizen. It's a law, pretty much. Like, you have to do it. And he never did any of that. So he pretty much assaulted that guy, I guess you could say, for no reason. I mean, he was sitting in his car, and if I saw something like this on the highway, personally, I probably would have pulled over and what would be like, what is the deal here? Because truly, for both of his cases, one with the famous tennis player, James Blake, there was no reason for him to punch him. That's just unexcusable. Two, the guy wasn't even fighting back in the car, I'm pretty sure. He just didn't want to get out of his car. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, I guess there could be some insecurity reasons, but not enough to punch a guy 3 times in the face and then smack him against his own car. That's just horrible. As a citizen, I feel like, one, we need to get a law together. I mean, is it just making this more aware of something like this? But I feel like we should run more mental stability tests amongst law enforcement. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you have to do 1 to 2 every years. Like, every 2 years, you have to have, like, one mental stability test. It's just crazy that stuff like that could happen. I mean, it's not that long for someone to just change as a person, their personality, everything like that. So, with the 3 topics of police brutality, I personally feel that truly, if we're going to make differences, we have to make the government more aware